know I gotta cut myself. I ain't trying to show my face today. Y'all probably like, what's Stone doing? Oh man. What's up? Hold up. Y'all probably like, what is Stone doing, y'all? What's up? Welcome back, Stone Paxton Music and Life Vlog. We are back again, you guys, with some cool stuff. We're gonna let some more people come into the live before we get started. So spare with us. What's up, Bridget? Bridget is here early. CC, my moderators, Cambodian Mystique. Share the live, hit like, hit the thumbs up when you're coming in. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to let a few more people get in here before we go live. Share the live, y'all. We're going to go in a minute. Consumer actor. Hello, family. What's up? How y'all feeling this morning? Bridget, CC, Mystique. We're going to wait for a few more people to get in. I know that sometimes it takes YouTube a minute to send out the notifications, but we're going to keep on rolling. They say 30 minutes, but shit. I think I set this time. I think I set it for longer than 30 minutes, I think. So we're just going to wait for a few more people to get in before we go in. But it's going to be interesting today. We have some great things to talk about. We have some great things to talk about today, you guys. I hope everybody feeling good today. Hold up. Let a few more people come in before we start. Share the live, share the live, share the love. Give me 1 second, you guys. Ladies, step into the floor. See, I got more than love, baby. This from A to Z. 'Cause when I open up my eyes, I see clearly. This is nothing but the truth. Love, it just takes you. So you and I can make our future history. Also, another subject I'm going to be talking about, you guys, is going to be, I'm eventually going to talk about this streaming stuff that's going on with streaming right now, and why it's important for artists to do physical CDs. We're going to talk about that, but not today. All right. And we're going to get started, you guys. We'll let people continue to come in as we go. Leanne's in the house. What's up, Leanne? Malara's in the house. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up as you're coming in, please. Hit that thumbs up as you are coming into the room. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. So we got some interesting stories today, man. This one's a pretty good one. A couple of them, man. And you know, I'm into like mystery stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm like real big on that. But this story right here is a pretty interesting story. We're gonna get into that. Hold on.
The Ghost of Willie Earle and the Haunting of Pickens County Museum. Maybe there's some people that know this story. Maybe there's some people that don't. But we're going to talk about it because it's a pretty doggone interesting story, you guys. And like I said, I like mysteries. And I like, I like ghost stories, but then I don't, but then I do. You know what I mean? So I said, let me share this story. Leanne said, yes, it is. There's a ghost roaming the halls of Pickens County Museum in South Carolina. And his name is Willie Earle. Y'all, Willie Earle sound like he played guitar. Willie Earle sound like a dude that played guitar, your great uncle's cousin or best friend. Willie Earle just sound like that name. He played some good old blues. His name is Willie Earle. His intriguing tale is very much a sad American horror story filled with racism, tragedy, murder, and injustice. We created black folklore to tell fascinating stories from American history that aren't told in the history books. I love stories like this. I'm intrigued with stories like this. You know what I mean? It seems to keep you on the edge of your seat. Um, Here's the story of the ghost of Willie Earle and the haunting of Pickens. Okay, about 20 miles west of Greenville, South Carolina. I got to go to this place. Now I got to see this place. Uh, Let me see, 20 miles west of South Carolina is the home of Pickens County Museum. What was once the county's only prison is now an art and history museum dedicated to preserving the rich artistic and historical heritage of Pickens County, so that it may be enjoyed in the future. Oh yeah, these are my kind of stories, you guys. Like you can hear the mystery music. Maybe I should have had some mystery music playing in the background. Hold on, give me a second. Let me see if I can find something. Hold on, you guys. And I can't find my mystery music, you guys. It's okay. No big deal. I was trying to find some mystery music in the background. It's almost Halloween. So anyway, it was once the county's only prison and is now an art and history museum dedicated to preserving the rich artistic historical history of Pickens County so that it may be enjoyed in the future, like I was saying. But what if I told you that 75 years ago, a ghost has been wandering the halls of the prison, calling out from the cells, pleading his innocence? There have been accounts of horrible, manly moans. Hold on, you guys, sorry. There's been accounts of sounds, horrible, manly moans coming from the walls that can be heard saying, I didn't do it. Yeah. This guy he's still around, you guys. The ghost of Willie Earle has been a popular topic among paranormal investigators for decades. Ghost hunters have flocked to Pickens County trying to find evidence of Willie's haunting. Some have said they can hear Willie pleading for his innocence through the walls. Others have said they've seen shadowy figures at night peering through the windows. Ghost hunters from all over the world have attempted to make contact with the ghost of Willie. Oh yeah, these are my kind of stories, you guys. Let me see. Raven Investigations of the Paranormal recently headed to the Old Brick Museum to live stream their attempt at finding and making contact with Willie. But how did this 24-year-old black man end up beaten to a bloody pulp with a bullet hole in his head? Wow. See, these are the stories that they don't talk about, that nobody talks about, that people seem to see that they're more mysteries and maybe it is a folklore story, but it's a real story. Share the live, you guys. YouTube be doing weird stuff on certain days, man. But like I said, we're gonna still keep it rolling. I ain't sending out my doggone notifications. On February the 15th, 1947, a black man hailed a cab in Greenville headed to Pickens County, South Carolina. The black man was eventually picked up by a white cabbie named Thompson Watson Brown. Wow. And the two made their way towards Pickens. As they drove towards the destination, Brown began to berate his passenger, trying to get a rise out of him using a racial slur and profanity. But the man stayed calm. When they arrived in Pickens, the passengers calmly exited the cab and began to walk away from the cabbie. Brown was infuriated that the man didn't pay. Brown jumped from the cab, yelling at the black man that he didn't pay. The two began to scuffle, and Thomas Watson Brown was beaten and stabbed to death. Now, in the 1940s, if a black man killed a white man and got away with it, another innocent black person was doomed to pay the price. Willie Earle would end up being that black person. No one knows if Willie Earle was the black man who killed the cabbie, but the white man in Pickens and Greenville really didn't care. He was charged in Brown's attack, which is crazy, man, because back then, there's been whole cities and towns and lives changed over the fact that a black man was accused of essaying a white woman or whatever, and then all of a sudden they will burn down the whole town and try to unlife every black person. This is historical. This has happened over and over again. Arrested and charged with Brown's attack at his mother's house that day and taken to Pickens County Jail. The next night, a white mob cabbie driver stormed the jailhouse, dragged Earl from his cell, kidnapping the young black man. Earl was taken to a remote location where the men beat him up, cut him up, then shot him in the face with, wow, hold on, you guys. They dragged this man from the jail. So, that was an inside job. The police was working with him. They arrested him at his mother's house the next day, and they take him to the Pickens County Jail. And the next night, a white mob of cabbie drivers stormed the jail, dragged Earl from his cell, kidnapping the young black man, Earl. And he was taken to a remote location where the men beat him, cut him up, then shot him in the face. Yo, what is going on, boy? I tell you, boy, they were brutal back then. Like, white folks didn't give a doggone damn. That shit is crazy. In what is known as the nation's largest lynching case, over 150 suspects were questioned in the days after Earl's murder, and the 31 white men were charged with the murder of Willie Earle. Many of the men signed confessions, and some even named the person who shot Earl in the face. One testimony from the court said the tissue of Willie Earle's brain was left hanging on the bushes. Wow. And that after the murder, the lynchers went back to Greenville and drank coffee. Y'all understand what it takes to be that just insensitive? Bridget said, thank God the ghost is that. I don't think the ghost is, thank God he's peaceful, right? Bridget, you're right. But I know he's not at peace, but damn. I mean, damn, it's crazy, man. CC say, why is the ghost following you? What? What'd you say, CC? Oh, Bridget's funny. Yo, this is crazy. This is extremely nuts, you guys. I mean, I'm just looking at how they did him. Ultimately, the justice system and courts failed Earl and his family. Yeah, the court system definitely failed him. This shit is just ridiculous. I mean, it makes no sense. An all-white jury returned a verdict of not guilty on all counts in less than 5.5 hours of deliberation. According to some accounts, the verdict disgusted the judge so much so that he refused to thank the jury for their service after the trial. Wow, damn. Even the judge was bothered by the verdict. Yeah, the judge wasn't cool. It seemed like the judge wasn't really happy with the verdict. He said he was disgusted So much so that he refused to thank the jury for their service to him. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, Willie Earle's injustice deserves to be heard. They say a ghost is just a soul that cannot find rest. As we share his story more and more, hopefully this will help the ghost of Willie to find closure he so rightfully deserves. Do you guys understand that this has happened over and over again in the African American community? Yeah. This is something that has happened over and over again. All across the world. You've had black men accused consistently. You got the Rosewood massacre. If you guys don't know anything about that, I'll give you the breakdown. In 1923, a vigilant mob began to descend upon a primarily black community in Rosewood, Florida. If you don't know, if you live in Florida, drive through Rosewood. It's still there. I mean, I think on the map you can find it. I know the city is barely sitting there, but you can still look at the map and it'll show you like Rosewood, the shape of the city and where the state line, I guess the line starts for Rosewood. But this is an example of a similar situation that happened in Rosewood. It was an attack on a black man who claimed that white woman claimed that this guy, raped her. They shot and beat this black resident, and they burned buildings, and just the whole town in a wreckage over a lie. There was 200 people in Rosewood, Florida. I've seen pictures, I've seen videos of that town to this day, and I don't think that town, it exists, but it doesn't. It's not, I mean, there's a few people that still own land there, I think, but it's not an active town like it was back then. Probably would have been a lot more people living there. Who knows? Here's the story on that one. Earlier that day, Fannie Taylor, a white resident of Summer, just to give you a synopsis of some of the things that have happened in the African American community across the country. Fannie Taylor, a white resident of Summer, a nearby North Florida town, had been heard screaming in her home. When a neighbor arrived, Taylor, visibly beaten, claimed that a black man had assaulted her. They reported that alleged attack to the sheriff, James Taylor. Now, her last name was Taylor. I wonder if she was related to this sheriff. Her name was Taylor. The sheriff's name was James Taylor. Fannie's husband gathered a white mob to search for a black man who might be his wife. Oh, so that was his wife. That might be his wife's assailant. According to the official 1993 Florida State report on the accident, some from the local recounted that a white man, possibly a lover, was seen visiting Fannie Taylor that morning. Some speculate that he might have been the one who assaulted her and that she fabricated the story of a black assailant to hide her affair. That sounds more like it to me. The sheriff's office, without evidence, had already chosen a suspect, Jesse Hunter, a black prisoner who had recently escaped a chain gang under the guise of finding Hunter. White mob staged a multi-day attack on Rosewood. They torched all the town's homes and churches, shot a resident fleeing the blaze, held firefights with residents defending their homes, and lynched several men that accused of harboring Hunter. Many Rosewood residents fled in terror, often just in the night clothes, to nearby swamps to hide from the mobs. Can you guys imagine that? Can you imagine for a moment having to hide in the swamps? I have to give black folks the resilience, man. Bridget said, people are evil and deep evil. Hey, Bridget, can you just, I know, right? Can you imagine hiding in the swamps? Bridget said, people are evil and deep evil, but attend churches. And yes, they do, Bridget. Can you just imagine though, having to hide? I don't know what's going on with YouTube. This is weird. Yeah, we got to get the algorithm. Hit some hearts, you guys. We got to get this algorithm up. I don't know if YouTube is not sending my notifications out. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I just know this is kind of strange. That YouTube is doing some really weird stuff. But I'm not gonna worry about that because people have to catch the replay. But usually I have my regulars on here, so I don't think they're sending the notifications out fully like they should. Okay. Bridget said people are evil, blah, blah. Okay, sad. CC says, here's the thing. Can you imagine having to go and hide in swamp area? Can you just imagine that? Okay, we're going to go hide in the swamp to get away from people burning up the town and unaliving us. Black folks went and hid in the swamps to hide from the mobs. While some estimates have ranged higher than official death counts, they include at least 6 black residents and 2 white attackers. As news of what was occurring in Rosewood spread, falsely casting the town's black residents as instigators, more white men joined the violent mob, including the Ku Klux Klan. Members of some black residents are able to escape via the train to Gainesville, Florida. So some of them were able to escape. I guess there was a train running through at that time, and they hopped on that train and was able to escape. God bless the spirits of those folks. The story of the Rosewood massacre was largely ignored until 1982. Now you got to remember, let's see when this happened. This happened in 1923. It was ignored all the way up until 1982, when at St. Petersburg Times reporter wrote a series of an article about its history. This led the town's remaining survivors in their old age to demand restitution from the state in 1994. The Florida state legislators passed a bill that allotted 9 living survivors $150,000 each, with significantly smaller sums to descendants' families, just half of whom received more than $2,000. That's a bunch of bullshit. The bill also established a scholarship for Rosewood descendants to receive a Florida State University college or post-secondary education free of tuition. The bill is considered the first of its kind. No legislative body in the U.S. had previously given reparations to black people. Interesting. In 1997, director John Singleton dramatized the massacre in his 1997 film, Rosewood. I want you to understand, these are the things that happen in the black community, and that has happened back then. Over and over again, this is something that has happened. And I just think it's interesting that we kind of go every day not realizing the struggles and some of the things that African Americans have been through. I think we have a tendency to forget those things, and those that have not heard of it don't think it exists. Some that might have heard of it don't want to talk about it. Some that have lived it don't want to relive it. True story. How do you stop something from happening again? There's only one way, and that is to learn from what has happened. Because surely if it does not get learned, it is doomed to be repeated. And that's just how it is. That's just life in general, you guys. I'm not making anything up that's purposely trying to make this sound good, or for me to dress this up in a way of me being dishonest with you. If this doesn't change, when you understand what has happened in the past, you have to share the story so that those things are not repeated again. As I look at this picture of this young man, Willie Earle, he was a young dude, man. I'm looking at his picture. And it just, I'm looking in his eyes and I see there's a bruise under his eye. They must have hit him with something. But the fact that he didn't realize that, you know what? This will be your last picture on this earth. And there's nothing that he can do about what he was being accused of. This was it. CC say just horrible. I know CC, and I'm sitting there looking at his picture, and all hope in his eyes just lost. Just a glossy look like, this is it. I'm done. This is it. My life is over with. There was nothing he could say or do. There's nothing that he could do, you guys. This was it. Some other guy did it, and they picked him up and said, you had to have done it. Isn't it sad just to look in his eyes like, this is it. There's nothing I can say or do. They're going to take me and do whatever they want with me, and this is probably going to be the end of my life. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. Leanne said, knowledge is the only way to try and heal anything, because without knowing what happened, you'll never really know about our history and the unjust things that were happening that were totally out of our control. Exactly, Leanne. And this is what I be trying to tell people. Like, there's so many things that black folks is worried about, but they're not worried about the most important thing, and that is educating ourselves as to the past, present, and future, so that we don't get caught up in the same mistakes, so that we don't repeat it, and so that we remind the powers that be what we went through, so that they'll be conscious, because they know, but they act like they don't remember, or they want to hide it and sweep it under the rug. Cece says, that's scary, just horrible. I saw the pictures too, and devastating. Yeah, Cece, it's, as I'm looking at him, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking as I look at his picture. It's absolutely heartbreaking, you guys. It's heartbreaking. And this is a story that has been written over and over and over again, and never ceases to fail. It's the same scenario every single time. Something happens to a black person. Somebody creates this narrative that a black man's done something. So Mpxone said, that's sad. It is. This happened to this guy. And people go, oh, okay. Even now, everybody thinks that nowadays we're desensitized. But no. We're not. We've been desensitized. They've been desensitizing black people in the general public. That's why they're able to do this shit. They've been unaliving black folks for centuries. So you see people say, oh, they desensitizing us, showing people, passing away on live or YouTube or Facebook Live, people getting unalive. They've been doing this. The desensitization has been happening since there was slavery. The purpose that they would do something or hurt a slave or whoop a slave in front of other slaves to scare them. Bridget said, yes, Stone, you are correct. I know, Bridget, right? Because I thought about it, Bridget. I was like, you know what? They talking about being desensitized, but they've been doing this. What's happening now has been happening since the hands of time. And definitely since we've been able to film it on camera, even before then. They use those strategies to scare black people into being submissive, so they would hang them. Hold on, you guys. They would hang them, you guys, in front of other black people to scare them. To scare them, to freak them out. To keep them in check. They would do that. It was all by design. It was to create that fear. Leanne said, if you haven't met anyone who's been unalive and no one's paid for that, you'll never be able to understand that feeling of helplessness. I know it, and I've seen it with my eyes. I'll read what Leanne said again. If you haven't met anyone who's been unalive and no one's paid for that, you'll never be able to understand that feeling. You know, I've watched people get unalive in front of me, Leanne, growing up in Illinois, in Chicago. I watched people get unalive and lay on the ground, and it's, you know, it messed me up growing up seeing that at an early age. And these were gang beefs going on. Now, can you imagine what slavery was like? I think every black person should take a moment and just imagine. Thank you guys for the hearts. I really appreciate that. We boost that algorithm up. I think every African American person, black, from Africa, from wherever, just think about what it would be like had they had to walk that walk with slavery. If they had to walk through that same period of time that our ancestors did, if they had to, what would they do? How would they be? How would they react? What would it be like? If only we could go back into time and take people back to that moment. Y'all understand what I'm saying? If we could take people back to that moment in time, if we could take them back just so they can experience. Just so they can experience. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I don't think nobody understands. And, you know, black people, even African Americans, don't really get it. We just hear the stories about slavery and what our ancestors have went through. Cece said, yes, I understand. It truly makes me sick. I would love it if people could take a moment to imagine what it was like for people back during that period of time. I think the level of compassion would be rather different if we could revisit the experience. Visiting the museums and seeing the pictures, that's one thing. But knowing the emotion that went behind that, the tears that people shed and cried, the tears that were shed and cried, that fell down their faces. I've thought about this many, many nights, you guys. And it's broken my heart, man. Barbara, welcome, welcome, Barbara. It's broken my heart. It has. Because for the love of Christ and everything that we believe in, I've never understood how a person has made themselves believe they are a superior race and that people's lives, I mean, I understand there's one thing to feel like you are the superior race. I get it. But then there's another thing when you, Bridget said, yes, Stone, you were correct. What's up, Barbara? And there's another thing to feel like, okay, I'm the superior race, but now I'm going to go unalive all these people just because I feel like I am the superior race. I'm not kind of, I'm not even going to say kind of. I am truly bothered by that. I'm bothered by that, you guys. Because that's something so deep in that. And it's psychological. It's more than just me hating you. Cece says the pain in their bodies every day, waking up from hot days and being beaten, then expected to get back up and for the same thing day after day. And do you remember what they used to say, Cece? See, I said something to somebody one time. Black people used to say, they used to have this saying, eyes be free when I'm gone. They knew the real secret. And they weren't saying they'll never be free. They knew during this lifetime they could never be free because they weren't allowed to be free because it was set up for them not to be free. So they knew because they would beat the Bible into African Americans that they had to be servants to their masters. Bridget said, superior only in their minds. Absolutely, Bridget. They would beat the psychology of submissiveness into the minds of African American folks. Like the only way you're gonna be free on this earth, boy or girl, starts with submissiveness. And then you gonna be free when you ain't on this earth. As long as you do right for your master, God gonna look out for you. And that's when black folks started to believe that I'd be free when I'm gone. This is what they say, I'd be free when I'm gone. So I wrote a song called Butterfly. I never put this song out. This is an interesting song, you guys. Barbara said it made them feel like big people. Yeah, Barbara. Crazy, right? It did. And the more they did it, the more they felt entitled. And the more entitled they felt, the worse it became for black people during that period of time. I wrote this song called Butterfly. And in that song, I was inspired because of stories of black people never really getting their true freedom. And even after slavery, they passed certain laws. If black people were together, it was considered a mob or a gang. And they used that so that they can imprison them. They use that as a way to imprison them still. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. Let's boost this algorithm up. What I need for everyone on here to do is, on the down right-hand side corner, there's emojis on your phone, if you're on the phone, or wherever. I don't know how it is on the Android. If you click those emojis and hit the hearts, it's just like TikTok. And you hit those hearts, it helps boost that algorithm up for me. Bridget said, big people with low self-worth. Yeah. They built the system to break. They took the religions away to break. They took away the history and the identity to control. And they did it over and over again. And if you could take a dog and put a dog in a cage and keep that dog in that cage for a year and open that cage up, and that dog will not walk out of that cage. Do you guys understand that kind of psychology? You guys understand that kind of psychology? You can put a dog in a cage for 1 year. Let him stay there 1 year. And then open that cage after that 1 year. That dog will not come out the cage. You can set the food outside the cage. He ain't coming out. Set it inside, he'll eat. He will not come out that cage, not even to touch that food, because you have conditioned that dog that this is what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to leave out that cage. As far as you can go is that cage, the end of the door where it opens up at that cage. That's the psychology of reprogramming and breaking of the African American community and the culture. And like I said, when they were free, then they said they were mobs and gangs hanging out, and they used that to lock them up and create a new narrative of free labor again through prisons. Henceforth, what we have to this day. Barbara said, my great-grandmother was born around the end of slavery. She married my great-grandfather, a white man, and that they had 13 mulatto kids in rural Arkansas. My grandmother was born, my grandmother was born in 1914. That's crazy, Barbara. Isn't that amazing to know? All the history, Barbara. Look at that. God bless your great-grandmother. Your family history. God bless your great-grandmother's spirit and your great-grandfather. They were doing risque shit back then. 13 kids by a black woman, I'm sure she caught black. Bridget say, we are still thriving. We still create and become successful. Yes, we do. Bridget, we do. They try to knock us off like roaches, and the DNA is just strong. Even when they put stuff to try to modify our DNA through products and meds and other shit in the health system. Barbara said, can you imagine? And what they went, yeah, and Barbara, I was just saying that right as you texted. Can you imagine what he had to deal with? Even the story of El DeBarge's father and his mom, the Barge family, how he had to hide that he had kids with a black woman and that he was married to a black. He couldn't even tell his friends. Maybe that's why he took out abuse on his kids. He was dealing with psychological issues that he didn't know how to handle, so he abused his family. He abused his kids. Yeah, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's pretty interesting. Leanne said, in the era and time, it has to be hard in a way that we'll never understand. Leanne, yeah, we ain't never gonna get this one. This is one we're never gonna get. We're not. Yeah, we're not gonna get this one, y'all. We'll never understand what they had to go through, what our ancestors had to go through. That's the reason there has to be a high level of respect. But because we're such a broken community that we can't even have conversations about the things that we should know. We've been broken by their forefathers, and now we have a generation that we can't even seep no information inside of their cerebral cortex. They're barely listening to themselves. They're barely listening to themselves, you guys. Y'all hear what I'm saying? They are barely listening to themselves. So they've done a great job at damaging our relationship with us. Notice what I said. They've done a great job at damaging our relationship with us. CC said, guys, I have to cut out. Okay, no problem, CC. Talk to you later in case you got a migraine. Take care of yourself. Yeah, no, please go. Get rest. No worries. Yes, please take care of yourself, CC. Barbara said, my great-grandfather was proud and loved him. I loved him. Some Lanny Thorns, they taught their children to be really close because they were rejected by both races. They look white, but were black. Yeah. Listen, Barbara, I think, 8% Irish in my family's blood. When I look at the DNA breakdown. Yeah, get better, CC. Please get rest, too. 8% Irish. I mean, maybe that's where the red hair in my family comes from. I don't know. I know when I was a baby, my hair was red as shit. I know that much. I mean, you could have called me Big Red. My hair was red as hell. Sandy red. Lynn said, I do know what I've been through in the 1960s where things were still a lot different. You couldn't live or go where you wanted without a problem. And in some places, it's still that way. Leanne, that's deep. That's deep. Leanne's sharing something deep with us. She said was that the early 1960s, Leanne? Seems like we're revisiting that period of time right now in our day and age. Barbara said, our children still come out looking like my grandfather. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, the DNA continues it might skip, like a certain DNA traits might skip a few kids, but it'll pick up in the great-grandkids or the grandkids. Yeah, it'll keep picking up. Yeah, it's crazy. Leanne said, yes, it was. Yeah, Leanne, I was born in the 70s, and being little, I can remember how I remember going down south. I think this was the 80s, Leanne, I remember we went down south. I think my mom was visiting a friend or something. And I remember seeing bathrooms that said blacks and whites still in Mississippi. Barbara said, B, he has some, yeah, he must have. Y'all still picking up seeing great grandfather and the kids. That's deep. I think I figured out how this YouTube thing works. I don't think YouTube likes when you hold the phone this way. I think it likes to be the phone held vertical. And I think that changes the algorithm too, you guys. I'm just trying to figure out this YouTube. I think it changes the algorithm too. When you turn your phone a certain way, I know it sounds crazy, but I think it does affect the algorithm. Yeah. Because I'm not holding it vertical. Barbara say blue eyes and all. Yeah, that's crazy, Barbara, huh? And people probably wonder, where the blue eyes of them kids come from? Your great-great-grandfather. They don't realize. You know, it's just crazy, man. I just look at the things that we're dealing with. Barbara said, I received a notification 30 minutes before the live started. Yeah, Barbara, I think it has something to do with me having my phone vertical or not. Like today, I don't have it the way I usually have it. And somebody did tell me that that it does do something or something with YouTube. I have to look up on it. But somebody came in my live and said it a while back. Barbara said, I hear you. My family has rainbows. Yeah, my family's mixed with so much stuff. But I didn't know that I had like 8% Irish. I didn't know anything. Like I said, 8% Ireland. I was like, what? I mean, but there are a lot of, my family's got all kinds of stuff. There's Asian in my blood. There's Irish. And my mom was high yellow. My grandmother was high yellow. My mom looked white when she was young. They didn't know what she was mixed with. They didn't know if she was mixed with Asian or white, or they didn't know what she was mixed with. They had no idea. I got nieces that look full-blooded Asian. They just look like dark Asians. They look like a darker, like caramel Asians, like a tan Asian person. Barbara said, Auntie Mick will fit right into my family. Yeah, mine too. Leanne Newman said, Barbara, I hear you. My family has rainbows also. Sorry. Yeah, and then it shows not too many people are on today, but I still wanted to live stream. You know me, I'm still going to do it. People can catch the replay. I'll still live stream. I probably won't do as long as I usually do, but I'm still going to do it. I might end a little bit early, but. Okay, so let's get into this story about Mr. Kobe Bryant. A Kobe Bryant movie is in the works about his drama-filled draft day. My thing is, listen, I think this is great, but if they're going to do a movie about Kobe Bryant, why not do the movie about his life? Why are you just going to do a movie about the draft day? They need to go ahead and do the movie about his whole life. While professional athletes continue to go vlogging, podcasting, and docuseries route, things are going a bit differently now that it's time to tell Kobe Bryant's story. According to Variety, Warner Brothers Pictures got its hands on a script based on a dramatized story of how Bryant joined the Los Angeles Lakers. The script was written by screenwriters Mpxone and Gavin Johansson, and is tentatively titled With the Eighth Pick. Back in 1996 NBA draft, there was a ton of drama surrounding LA's interest in Kobe Bryant, which included a pre-draft scrimmage that impressed general manager Jerry West, but they didn't have any top picks. So he went to the Charlotte Hornets with the 13th pick, but was later traded for the Vlade Divac. The New Jersey Nets and their general manager, John Nash, had the 8th pick. Nash has previously said that he wanted to draft Bryant with the pick, but was overruled by the Nets coach, John Calipari. Brightside, what's happening, family? Telling the story of the 1996 draft process from the team's perspective would be particularly interesting due to the stacked nature of their draft classes, which included Allen Iverson, Marcus KB, Steve Nash, Peja Stojakovic, and future teammate Derek Fisher. Variety adds that the current script compares it to Moneyball and Ben Affleck. Oh, that's kind of weird. Are they really gonna follow that route? They say they compare the script to Moneyball and Ben Affleck and Mac Damon's Air, which told the story of Nike's courtship of Michael Jordan back in the 1980s. There was a CNN-produced Kobe, The Making of a Legend miniseries earlier this year, but this new script has a big screen inspiration. After the Lakers were able to secure the rights to Bryant, he went on to dominate the league for nearly 2 decades and won 5 championships in the process. There was even a three-peat in there with the help of Shaq, as a powerhouse duo helped return the West Coast team to its Showtime Laker days. Social media's reaction to Kobe Bryant's movie. Kevin Hart said, and a latter have been cast in the lead role. Kevin Hart and a latter oh, they funny as shit. Somebody, that's funny. Hold on, wait a minute, they clowning. There's people on there clowning. DJ Brightside, what's up, family? Hey, listen, they cracking jokes. They say, yeah, Kobe was a man. They say they can't. Somebody's gonna cast Kevin Hart in a ladder. They say Kevin Hart in the ladder has been casted for the lead role. That's funny. Somebody said it is not a Kobe Bryant biopic. It's about the behind the scenes in 1996, a NBA drafting of Kobe Bryant. It is told from the point of view of John Nash, and I don't know why they don't just do the movie about his life. They need to just go on and do the movie about his life, man. It's sad to still know how he passed away, man. I sit back and think about that, boy. I tell you, boy, that just, man. That whole thing bothers me still, you guys. And I'm sure it bothers you guys. The way he passed away, that sits in my brain. That whole thing was strange and still weird to this day. Maybe one day they will unveil the real truth of that. Maybe one day, you guys. Just the way he passed away still does not sit well with me. But hey, who am I? I'm just a fan of Kobe Bryant, trying to figure out that strange scenario of him passing away. Yeah, that whole thing was strange. It was absolutely strange, you guys. DJ Bryce said likewise, he was taken out. Yes, he was. Yeah, I mean, DJ Bryce, are you 100% correct? Because none of that shit made sense. Let me tell you something. That pilot taught a friend of mine how to fly the helicopter. And he told me, he said, Stone, he was proficient in instrumentation. He taught us. He said he taught us how to fly. He was what do you call it? He was there's a word I'm looking for. He was oh God, what is that? He was certified to teach instrumentation. He knew if you were flying and you could not see, then you don't fly paying attention to being able to see visually outside of the helicopter, but use your instrumentation. He was trained in that. He trained other pilots with that. Leon said, yes, it wasn't supposed to happen, and it did. Yeah, crazy. Barbara said, I was in denial for about an hour until my son called me and said, Mom, it's real. He said, I'm here in LA, and the people are crying everywhere. Yeah. This pilot taught a friend of mine. A friend of mine is a helicopter pilot. He lives in California. He flies every day. He told me, he said, Stone, that was my instructor. And I said, well, damn, what do you think happened? He said, the only thing I could think is he felt pressured to get Kobe there on time, and he overlooked the many mistakes that can happen as a pilot, low visibility. He knew better. He knew better because he taught us instrumentation. He was overqualified. All he had to do is look down at the instrumentation and do what he do best, what he was trained to do and what he was teaching other pilots to do. Fly using your instrumentation when flying at low visibility. Leanne said somebody put something where it would malfunction. Someone said it, so it's hearsay. It's what was told to me. Yeah, it quite don't make sense, Leanne, because I'll be honest with you. That's the way I feel. That's the way I felt right when it happened. Barbara said, I've been watching the Lakers channel and they were not talking about it. After my son called me, I returned to the TV and breaking news came across the Lakers channel. I know. Yeah. I mean, this stuff we're talking about is just nothing made up. There's something to that. And as time goes, I'll be willing to bet you, as time goes, there are some other things that are gonna come up about that day and that morning of that flight. Just let time happen. Just let time happen. I promise you, something is going to come up sooner or later. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, you guys. We're going to hear a story. Something's going to come up. Something is going to come up that we didn't hear the first time. Sometimes it takes a while. It takes some years sometimes for certain truths to happen. Right? Who would have known that Martin Luther King was going to pass away upstairs or downstairs? It didn't matter. That day they made sure that he was not going to be on this earth. And how many people know that he passed away at the hospital? People thought he got shot and he died at the top of that balcony at the hotel. He didn't. He got smothered at the hospital with a pillow. Yeah. See, a lot of people don't even know that. Barbara said, I cried like a baby. Kobe and my son are the same age, a few months apart. So he was like a son. Oh, I get it, Barbara. It just wasn't cool. But once again, how many people knew Martin Luther King was going to pass away upstairs or downstairs or in the car or at the hospital? How many people knew that no matter what, there was nothing Martin Luther King could do that day to stop the fact that they wanted to unlive him? It was going to happen that day. It was already set up to happen that day. And once again, he died at the hospital being smothered by a pillow. Go research it. You'll be like, dang, okay, Stone, how did you know? To go research it. It's there. If you really want to know, it's there. The information is there. Yeah. It's there. Y'all just got to be willing to go research the truth. You have to be willing to go and research the truth, you guys. If you're not willing to do that, then it doesn't matter. Leanne said that's why We need to do our research. Yeah. You know, I've said that to people, Leanne. They, oh man, Stone, that's made. No, it's not made up. I'm not just breathing God's air that He's put on this earth for me to just spew out bull crap. I'm telling you, I'm giving you facts. Yeah. I'm giving you facts, you guys. I don't think I'm going to stream anymore with my phone in this direction unless I'm posting a pre-recorded video. I think I'll do it the right way. I mean, the way that I usually do vertical next time. Brother Timothy, what's happening? Yeah, all we got to do is do the research. The story of Kobe, the truth will come out. Even though we think that all the stories have come out, I don't believe everything has come out. Barbara said their autopsies were really heartbreaking. Limbs automatically amputated from Kobe and Gigi, I suppose the others. I know, man. Did you read the autopsy reports, Barbara? Did you read it? Can you listen? I know I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because I want us to understand the magnitude of the dark elements in this world that rule and control the powers. Can you imagine being in that helicopter when they all knew that something wasn't right and this might be it? And the billions of dollars that Kobe had, there was nothing he can do to save him or his daughter at that moment. Yeah, the Angie autopsies are very strange, and even that shit's there's another autopsy. It'll pop up. Trust me, it'll pop up after trust and see, Barbara, trust me, it'll pop. There's gonna be another autopsy. There's already another one, I bet you, and it'll pop up later, or they'll have to exhume the body and do another one. DJ Bryce said, I heard Kobe was working on starting it. Yes, he was. The Black Mamba League. Yes, he was. And that was another thing. They didn't want Kobe to start that league. And he had sued them and won for that whole Black Mamba situation. Remember that, DJ Brightside? Leanne said that was horrifying to read or to learn about all those things. And we need... Listen, Leanne, imagine, Barbara and Leanne, imagine in that helicopter. I didn't take lessons to fly a helicopter, but I did take my pilot's lessons and got my private license as a pilot with private flying, the Cessna 626. But what I will tell you is flying anything is fun, but it's scary, because if you can't see visually outside of that plane or the helicopter, I wanted to be a pilot, I thought, when I was young. So I was in aviation. I was in aviation when I was in middle school. I was in an aviation club. I was chosen to be in an aviation club from middle school throughout high school, right? So when you're in those helicopters, in those planes, and you have low visibility, it's the scariest shit in the world. It's like flying at night. Because when you have low visibility and there's clouds, you don't know what up and down is, what's the difference is. And sometimes your equilibrium can throw you off. So you don't know what is up and what is down. So you have to learn how to rely on reading the instrumentation inside of the helicopter or the airplane. JFK made the same mistake. John F. Kennedy made the same mistake when he was flying, you guys. He thought he was going up when he was going down. Barbara said the saddest thing for me is it was right down the freeway from me. He was on his way to my town of Thousand Oaks. Yep, he sure was. If you had looked up, you would have saw him right up over your head, Barbara. Coming up, flying, he probably flew right over your house. Bridget said Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and Angie Stone were all taken out. The question is, who benefits from their death? Well, I will tell you this. When Prince passed away, he didn't want Warner Brothers or anybody to... He had just gotten his his publishing back and then his master's, and then he passes away a little bit after that. And it ended up back in their hands after he passed. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that. Same people Michael was trying to get away from. His catalogs is back in their hands again. Explain to me what that's about. Because if he was alive, he's probably turning in his grave to know that the both of them, like, man, wait a minute. I fought to get this back, and now it's in their hands again. Bridget said, I do not believe Prince did not leave a will. From my friendships with people that are close to Prince, very close, people that I deal with that's been in his band, told me there was a will. But for some reason, when he passed, there was no will. Bridget, that's, they told me he had a will. And these are people that are close to him that told me this. It didn't make sense to them. Barbara said, no, he had not made it to Thousand Oaks. He went down. Okay, got you. He didn't make it to you. Okay. Yeah, Barbara, that pilot was a very accomplished pilot. And so his student told me, Stone, he said, I've replayed it over and over again in my head. Only thing I could say is he was overconfident, and he was dealing with the fact of wanting to please Kobe and get him where he needed to get. He could have easily said, I'm not going to fly in this low visibility. Or he could have said, I don't trust flying. Even with reading the instrumentation, I don't trust flying. I'm sorry, Kobe. I have to ground this helicopter. We can't see. We got to wait a few more hours. But you might have to drive. But my friend who was his student said he probably felt pressured. And this is a superstar. I got to get Kobe. I don't want to let Kobe down. Leanne said all these injustices have patterns. So these are strange cases. Yeah. She said Barbara said Kobe was not in his helicopter. They used another one to accommodate all the, yes, they did. But what I'm saying is my friend's instructor was the pilot of that helicopter. And I asked him what he thought, Barbara, and he said that only thing he could think is that he felt pressured to get Kobe there, because sometimes they will ground the helicopters when you can't, low visibility. You say, we're not flying. Yes, I know he did, Barbara, but that wasn't in low visibility, though. You got to understand. I have my pilot's license, not for no helicopter, though. Even though I haven't flown in a while, the Cessnas. Flying in clear visibility versus low visibility is different. They were flying in, the visibility was so bad, like I think you could only see, I don't know, maybe 100 feet in front of you, something very, very, something that wasn't good to be flying in. And all the pilot had to say is, you know what, Kobe, I got love for you, but I don't want to put you guys in harm's way, so I'm going to have to ground this plane. I'm sorry. I know you need to get there. See what I'm saying? You see what Barbara just said? She said it was really foggy. L.A. County sheriffs had grounded all their flights. Exactly. Even the L.A. County helicopter didn't fly. When you see those pilots not flying, you know the pilot must have felt like he didn't want to let Kobe down. But I'd rather let somebody down and say, hey, I'd rather save your life and not to fly than to fly. I'm sorry, Mr. Kobe. If you want to use another service, I don't want to be responsible for you guys' lives. I'm sorry. Leanne said that's what he should have done, was not go if he had that feeling and still wanted to get him to the destination. And if it wasn't clear, that's a sign right there. Living is more, exactly. Now, here's the thing. We know when something is going to happen. We all do. We all know. They felt it. Everybody in that helicopter felt something. They just didn't know what they were feeling. From the time they stepped in that helicopter, they had an uneasy feeling. We all do. The day anybody has had a car accident will replay it and tell you, yeah, I did feel funny before I left home. I felt something. Think about it. He went and prayed that morning. Early that morning, he went and prayed. Now, I know he was devoted to his religion, but I'm not sure if he prayed every morning like that. I know he was devout to his religion. But all of them felt something. Barbara said Kobe could have driven to Thousand Oaks, but he didn't. At least he attended church that morning. I know I said that same thing. Gigi had a game and they were trying to make it there. I know, Barbara, and that's the only thing that I'm like, man, sometimes the luxuries of life gets us put in a situation. Sometimes affording the luxuries of life puts us in a situation of jeopardizing being unalive, the luxuries of life. Had he not had the luxury to fly, he would have still been here. And some people will say, oh, well, it was his time. I don't believe that shit. I believe we can put ourselves in a situation that can alter when it's time for us to go. That's my belief. I believe that there's just a certain time where you can put yourself in a position and you can alter how long you would have been on this earth. If you're planning, God said, well, I want you here for 100 years. And you say, well, okay, God, but I'm going to go get on this motorcycle and drive down this dark road at night. You're altering what he already said. You're literally altering his design of what he's created. He gives us free will. So he gives us free will to get on that motorcycle and ride at night. He's going to say, all right, that's what you want to do. Go ahead. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But I'm telling you, okay. Leanne said, I don't believe that there's any set time at all for us to leave our physical bodies. No, I don't believe. I don't either, Leanne. I don't. You know, some people be like, oh, it was just meant to be. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. If I get in my car right now and I leave and drive mad, I am increasing the chances of being unlife. If I drive and don't pay attention to other people, Damaged Kisses said same. What's up, Damaged Kisses? If I drive and I don't pay attention and I'm on my phone, I am increasing my chances of unaliving myself. Barbara said the Simpsons predicted Kobe's helicopter crash years before, as they predicted all. The Simpsons be doing crap shoots. They will actually just do a show and just do some random stuff, and it actually ends up happening. So it's almost like, what is it that the Simpsons show know that we all don't know? Because obviously it's some shit they know. I don't think none of that shit is a coincidence. They predicted shit about Trump and tons of other celebrities. It's something they know that we don't know. Real talk. It's something they know that we don't know, y'all. What up, Damaged Kisses? The Simpsons show seems to always predict. And that's why I tell people now, the Simpsons is Confucius. Nostradamus. Goddamn Simpsons show. They're like Nostradamus, you know what I'm saying? Confucius say, because the Simpsons be nailing it. I was shocked. I wonder what Kobe thought when he saw the episode of The Simpsons. Honestly, I would have said, I ain't flying in no more goddamn helicopters after I saw that cartoon. When you guys come in, make sure you're hitting the like, you guys, please. As you're coming in, please, thank you. I appreciate you. Had I been Kobe, I would have looked at that Simpsons thing and said, man, you know what? I can't even get on no helicopters after that cartoon has predicted tons of people passing away. I can't even do it. Lady Sparkle, what's up? DJ Brightside say they know the devil. Yes, they do, Brightside. They do. And listen, Brightside, they be nailing it. Lady Sparkle in the house. They nail it. Leon said, my sons always says those things. Oh, your sons say that they pretty much they predict the future. Yeah, they do. I think we sleeping on the Simpsons. That's that cartoon. I think we probably need to pay more attention to the Simpsons because they've been nailing it. They be nailing it. I just don't think it's a coincidence. That's just my opinion. Not a coincidence at all. How is it that they seen that? They will literally do, the Simpsons will do a show, and you know who else has done it too? There's another one that's done it too. I can't remember the other one, but the Simpsons always nails it with everything, with the politicians, with the presidents, with rappers. I just don't think that crash was a coincidence. And I do believe that in time, as we go, there's going to be conversations that are going to pop up about the Kobe Bryant thing. And it might not be now. It might take a long time. But for sure, we're going to see the truth. Damage Kisses said, well, they have to tell us what they are going to do before they do it. Yes, they do. The ritual is in effect. Damage Kisses, yes. Because there is just no damn coincidence that they have been nailing it on the money. Like, that's just no way. There's just no way. What are the odds? Let's look at the odds of that. Okay, if you go back, I know at least 10 things that's happened on The Simpsons. Hold on. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be even more exact. Hold on. We're going to be more exact. Let's try to get more exact with it, okay? That's what we're going to do. Hold on. Let's be more exact. Because I like to be as close as possible to the truth. All right? I just want to show you guys something. Like Damage Kisses said, they have to tell you before they do it. Y'all ready? The Simpsons have accurately predicted events and trends, including Donald Trump's presidency, the Disney-Fox merger, video calls, smart watches, space tourism for the wealthy, and European horse meat scandals, the Osama bin Laden capture, Lady Gaga's Super Bowl performance, and COVID's like pandemics. Other predictions include the NASA surveillance in 2008, financial crisis, and even a real-life case of ferret poodles being sold as pets. So now y'all still going to tell me that's a coincidence? Y'all heard what Damage Kisses said? It's not a coincidence. Damage Kisses said, we do not rule here. That's all I'll say. Oh, well, if people haven't figured out we don't rule here, then we're just all super mentally detached. If nobody has figured out that we don't rule here, if the everyday average man think that they rule here and in control, then you lost your motherfucking mind. Because surely, I think a 10-year-old could be able to tell us that, right, Damage Kisses? Damage Kisses said, we do not rule here. That's all I say about that. Now, for all my common sense folks, if y'all don't know that, something is naturally wrong. Bridget said, the Simpsons predict Trump will... Yeah, they predicted that too. There you go. Bridget, you feel what I'm saying? Barbara said even Kamala being the vice president down to what she wore. Yeah. Rituals. Rituals and rites, you guys. Rituals and rites. These are true stories. I mean, I just, for one, just don't believe that that helicopter just came down on its own. Like, once again, what's my connection to the helicopter? My friend, his teacher was that pilot. My friend, who is a pilot in California as we speak, his instructor was that same pilot who was flying Kobe. And I asked him, what do you think happened? And the words out of his mouth went like this: Stone. All I could say is he wanted to get him there. He was in a hurry. He wanted to please Kobe. He didn't want to disappoint him. Because he knew instrumentation well. Yeah, he was flying in low visibility. And here's the thing. Now, here's another coincidence. The indicators weren't working to tell him that he needed to pull up and that he was too low. Why? That was strange. Why? That was strange. This man was a well-trained pilot. Barbara, I know he couldn't see, but let me tell you what happens as a pilot. When they train you, when they trained us, when I got my little private pilot's license for the Cessna, when you can't see out of that plane, they train you to read your instrumentation because the instrumentation is not going to lead you wrong. They say if you can't see, low visibility, trust your instrumentation. JFK made the same mistake. He was trying to look out the window. He probably freaked out. He wasn't paying attention to his instrumentation and crashed into that ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Because there's a fear that kicks in. Trust me. As I was doing my pilot's lessons, I remember that my instructor would check me all the time because I was supposed to be paying attention to the instrumentation. And my tail looking out the window, he said, no, don't do that. Look at your instrumentation. I said, I know. He said, you got to break yourself from doing that because that's what everybody wants to do. You want to look out the window when you feel like you're making a mistake. Even if you could see, pay attention to your instrumentation because your instrumentation is going to let you know your longitude, latitude, if you're balanced, if you're banking too hard to the left, your speed, your thrust, your power, your gas, your flaps, your ailerons, whatever you need to know. Your instrumentation is going to let you know what's happening. Barbara said, I couldn't see over the hills when you normally can. That fog that morning was no joke. Yeah, it's always like that in that area. Because I used to live in Orange County. Even in Orange County, when the fog kicks in, you can barely see in my backyard back then on those days. So imagine being in a helicopter or an airplane. That shit is scary. That shit is super scary. How many of us have been in a plane and it went through clouds? Could you see anything but the clouds? Nope. So imagine that. And it gets dark. And a lot of times with fog, it'll get dark. And in California, in the mornings with the fog, it's already gloomy. And then add that fog to it. So no, I don't think that crash was a coincidence. I think it's a combination of something that possibly could have been planned. And pilot malfunction didn't make it any better. It didn't make it any better. Because had the pilot done what he was trained to do, there's a possibility they all would still be here. Leanne says something was happening with either malfunction or something made that happened. It also happened too fast to do anything, I heard. So, well, what happens is if you're in a helicopter or airplane, a lot of times things happen so fast, it's too late to overcorrect. So, yeah, it happened so quick, they had no time to overcorrect. Because if you don't know your longitude and latitude, which is your direction of where you're going, if you don't know your longitude, latitude, and you can't see where you're going, and your instrumentation is not working, you pretty much you have a dead stick in the air. You don't know where you're going. You don't know up from down, down from up. Turning your lights off in the car at night on the freeway is the same analogy. Barbara said, I used to drive to work in the fog down Cajun Pass. I would pray to make it through because some mornings I could only see my dad. You, Barbara, you feel me, Barbara? So, Barbara, now imagine if you turned your lights off on top of that. That's a helicopter. That's what it's like being in a helicopter. You already can't see, right? Imagine turning your lights off to your car on top of the fact that you already can't see only but your dashboard, right? Just imagine that. That's what it's like being in a helicopter in that. Leanne say driving is bad enough. Never mind. Listen, Leanne, I wanted to be a pilot. Well, not be a pilot. I'll take that back. I wanted to have my pilot's license, right? So like I said, I've been in aviation classes since I was in middle school. I was picked to be in this special aviation program for youths, right? But when you're in that plane and you're actually taking the flying lessons is a whole different game. It's scary. Because in the smaller planes like the Cessnas, you feel every drop. If you drop 20 feet, you feel it. You can drop 100 feet in a second. You feel it. It's, it's not forgiving. So when you're flying and you're training and you have those controls and your instructor's sitting to your left and you're worried about making a mistake because the instructor's, seeing if you know what you know, but they have their hands on the control but not trying to overcorrect. And then you naturally want to look out of the window. I don't know. I guess it's human nature because we're used to driving cars. The first thing we do in a car is look out the window to make sure we go in the right direction or stand on the road, right? When you can't see the lines. In an airplane, a helicopter, no. You can fly with visual on clear days, but for the most, you still should be reading your instrumentation. And most, that's where they kind of freak out at. They start freaking out on the instrumentation. When they can't see it, and then they kind of freak out a little bit. And that's what happened with this. And the combination of me thinking like, yes, something had to be wrong with the helicopter on top of that. I think there was some malfunctioning with it, and the pilot couldn't he couldn't figure out what was happening with the gauges, and I'm sure there might have been something going wrong with him when he tried to possibly read the instrumentation. Maybe it wasn't properly working. Barbara said Cajun Pass is bad. Yeah, I've been through Cajun Pass. Cajun Pass is very dangerous on a clear day, and certain times of the year it can be foggy all day. I hated that. I'm glad I don't have to do that. Ooh wee, Barbara, I'm happy you don't have to do it anymore either. Yeah, that shit's crazy. I'm glad you don't have to do it. Yeah, that Cajun Pass, I think I went living in California. I think I've done that pass maybe a good 100, 200, maybe about 150 times. How do I know? Maybe even 200 because I try to count every time I went because I didn't like going through Cajun Pass. Tito Jackson lived in Calabasas, so I used to always go and visit. Yeah, you said Cajon. You put Cajun. I used to visit. Tito Jackson lived in Calabasas, and my other good friend, one of my Persian friends. So I would go to my Persian friend's house and stay. And I say, dude, I was like, man, how do you deal with this? And even Pacific Coast Freeway, Barbara, even Pacific Coast Freeway at certain times in the morning or at night. Leon said, Barbara, I don't know you. I'm happy you don't have. Yeah, I'm glad Barbara don't have to do that. I say Cajun. Yeah, that the J is silent. Cajon, you live at the top. You still making that drive? You said you don't have to no more. I'm glad you don't have to, Barbara. Man. Yeah, so I just don't believe. I believe there was something wrong with the instrumentation. Barbara said Pacific Coast Highway, yeah. You know what I meant, Barbara. Yeah, I got a couple friends that got houses like right off the ocean, right off the Pacific Coast, right there. And I used to hate making those drives, man. At night, I didn't want to go at night, and I didn't want to go in the morning. Ooh wee, you lucky, Barbara. Thank God for that. Have you ever taken the Pacific Coast Highway all the way up to the Bay Area? You ever taken that ride where you can go all the way up to the Bay Area? It's crazy, especially when it's foggy. But listen, talking about that, have you taken that pass like in San Francisco when I forgot the name of it, where it's real foggy, man? What's that road? That shit is like, I think it's in between San Francisco and going to Fresno, man. Oh my God. Yeah, once again, I don't think that accident was a mistake. I think that was by design in some weird, odd way. And eventually the truth will come out, and it might take years, but it'll reveal itself. It'll definitely reveal itself. Barbara, we're glad you don't have to do that drive anymore. You don't have to put the rosary on your mirror anymore as you're driving through that pass. Listen, you guys, that's my time. I'm gonna go on tomorrow at the same time. I might go on later. I'm not quite sure, but I had to go on regardless of We'll get people doing the replay, but next time I'm gonna make sure that I post vertical. Peace and love, and I will chat with you guys same time tomorrow. You guys, I think I'm gonna go on at 10 tomorrow too. So I'll chop it up with you guys tomorrow. All right, peace and love, and I'm out.